Hello and welcome to episode 7 of Building My First Model Railway. If you've been following my channel and my videos, you might have wondered what happened to episode 5, which still hasn't been published. That's because episode 5 is about the surface mounted points, which you can just see there. But I haven't finished that, and I've got into making my scenics and my bridge following on from the last video. So I've sort of been sidetracked with that and been quite enjoying that. So I'll finish episode 5 and the points. Hopefully, probably the next video I publish. In the meantime, I've been getting on with this bridge and the banking. So I'll just show you where I'm at the moment. So I was going to use the HelloFresh wrapping, but it was just too soft and crinkly. Just didn't have any substance to it. So instead I've been using this sort of packaging, which is it's not polystyrene, it is like a expanded foam, but it's not as messy as polystyrene. It's still a bit messy, as you can see from my layout and the floor below me, but yeah, you can cut it with a standing knife or scissors, and it holds its shape as well. It's pretty firm. So what I thought I'd do is get the banking behind the bridge and then get the bridge. And then before tackling the actual road, I did have a suggestion from Hemel Down, so thanks very much for that, about actually building, as opposed to having a bank here, sort of building an embankment, which is what I'm going to do. I got some of the Metcalf building sheets, so hopefully that'll match in pretty well with the actual bridge. So I'll be able to do that. And the other thing I've been doing is playing around with some weathering powders and trying to weather. I don't know if you can see that on the bridge there, but because I thought it'd be a lot easier to weather the bridge before I put it in than putting it in and then weathering it. So I've been doing some weathering. I got some DC Concept weathering powders, which I'll show you a bit later in the video. But that's actually gone pretty well, I think, for my first attempt. The trouble is, what I have found is once you put the powder into the paper, once it's sort of embedded in, it's difficult to get out. So you sort of you have to plan it a little bit. But yeah, it's been pretty good. So that's the stage I'm up to at the moment. I thought I'd capture that before I continue going, and then I'll update you a bit later on in the video with the progress. Good morning. I thought I'd give you a quick update with the progress of my hill and bridge. So as you can see there, I've now just glued it all in place with the PVA, just waiting for it to dry. I was meant to capture some of the stages of me doing the hillside, but completely got carried away and forgot to video it, so sorry about that. As I said earlier, all I've used is this like foam packaging. It's a bit squishy and a bit aerated, but it's a lot easier to carve and cut than polystyrene. You just do it with scissors or with a scalpel. So all I did was carve that, glued some layers together with some sticks and then having watched a few other videos about how to do hillsides, I pretty much did exactly what they said, which is once I'd coated it all, I then used some filler, which is just a poly filler, quick drying poly filler. Sorry for the quick movement there. To coat it and just smooth it out a bit, and then painted it with some brown emulsion that I just got at Tester Pots from B&Q. And then I put, so in fact it wasn't brown, it's sort of a browny grey, and as you can see on the side there, actually when I was painting the side, I thought, well, actually that will look more like a rock face. So I sort of put a bit more grey in it and left that bit exposed, and then covered the rest of it in just a mix of a green scatter. So that's what I've done so far. I'm now just waiting for the glue to dry, so it's all fixed in position. I've checked it with my coach there to make sure that they run through the tunnel okay. So hopefully that should all be lined up nicely. So the next stage will be to obviously embed that in, build the road, build up some of the line side areas as well, so the actual foam piece is bedded into the background, and do the road and the retaining walls as well on the bridge. I've got these retaining walls here, so I need to put them on as well. So still quite a bit of work to do, but I thought I'd give you a quick update at this stage so you can see where I've got to, and hopefully in the next few days it'll progress further. So I'll just zoom in there a little bit, so you can see there that it's now glued in. I've also glued in the road and put some filler in around there and around here just to bed the piece that was put in initially in place, and the same this side. And I've also put the embankment, I don't know what they're called, the retaining walls up both sides as well, and ballasted. So it's sort of fairly bedded in now. So that's the first bit I want to get done. I've been thinking about the road a lot and what to do with that, because one of my pet hates is when you see a road just vanishing into a back screen or a wall, and it just doesn't look right. So I really want to avoid that. So initially I thought, well, I'd curve it like I've done here, so I can put some bushes and trees, so you just don't really see that it actually goes into the back screen like that. But I think it's still going to look a bit weird. So I was also looking at some Model Railway magazine, and they showed how to actually put a photograph of the roads vanishing into the background. So I had a little play of that, and I did a little photograph. You can just see there a photograph of a road vanishing, which is just up the road from where I live, and cut it out and thought I'd use it to see if that would work. And if you can see, if I actually push it in there, I mean, it's a bit crude at the moment, but with you know, a bit more care, a bit more sizing, some bushes around it, I actually think that might work. So I'm going to try that again, print it off on proper photographic paper. I think I'm going to lighten it a bit, because this is actually a wall here, so I could continue that round and try and bed that in as well, and give that a go, and hopefully that will work. As for the road surface itself, I've been, as you've seen on previous videos, I've been using this flat roof felt as sort of an underlay, but I noticed that the back of it actually looks very much like a tarmac. So my plan is, I've got some offcuts, is to get a paper template and then cut this as the tarmac and lay that around, and then also try and blend that as it goes into the road there. So that's the next stage really, is to try and get the road, because I've been trying to work from the back forwards, because I just think it'd be a lot easier than sort of reaching over everything. So I want to try and get the road in, the trees and bushes around it, and get that all bedded in, and then I'll put a bit of static grass on the hillside and just sort of embed it, a few bushes maybe up the side there as well. Sorry for moving the camera around a lot. So yeah, so that's the update. It's a few days in now, so and it's made my railway into a complete bomb site, which I hadn't really thought about, but yeah, quite a messy business, this Scenic malarkey, but really enjoying it anyway. And I'll come back to you when there's a bit more to show. Well, I finally managed to finish my corner, back scene and bridge, so I thought I'd give you a quick update to finish off this episode. So as you can see, it's all really tied together pretty well for my first attempt. If I just pan round, and you'll see hopefully the effect that the road with the photograph has got. And I'll try and zoom in a bit more, and hopefully you'll see the joint a little bit more. There you go, and that's the transition from the road, the actual road, to the photograph, and you can just see the edge of the photograph that's been stuck to the back scene as well. But I think from a distance, and you're over the bridge now, if I actually come back from sort of normal viewing angle type distances, I think that it works pretty well. And actually that's side on anyway, I'm hanging over the board. You're normally going to view it, you know, from here, my controller's down there. So you're going to view it really from here. It's only if you lean over and peek in. Now look at it, it's probably a lot of effort for nothing, but like I say, in the earlier bit of the video, I really don't like it when a road just vanishes into a back scene and just doesn't look right. So to me that was quite important, and I'm actually quite pleased with it. It's quite dark. And I did consider lightening it, but then when I lightened the actual photograph, then the road got lighter, and as you can see, the road itself is quite dark anyway, so it would have been hard to match. What I actually did to match it in is I painted a bit of the road and a bit of the photograph the same grey, and then faded it out on the road, so you can see the road's darker near the photograph. just to match into the actual road in the background. And then I was trying to match the actual colour on the photograph itself, but that was too difficult, so I ended up actually painting a bit of the photograph with the grey paint as well. But I think that's a desired effect, and then the little white lines just to catch the eye as well. And then by surrounding it with trees and hiding it, you can hide the joins and of the photograph to the back scene quite a bit. You can't really hopefully see that too much. You know, and hopefully it gives a realistic effect. And then I finished it off by making I wanted a little stone wall, because the actual road where the photograph is taken from does have a stone wall. I don't know if you can see it on the video, but there is an actual wall there. So I wanted to sort of continue that a bit as well. So I did look at some of the stone wall you can buy, but it wasn't sort of detailed enough for me. So I just used some paper. I think it's Notch. It's got a bit of it here. This paper. It's got a bit of a texture to it. It's almost like a plasticky finish. And then bend it over a bit of cardboard to make it sort of slightly more 3D. And you'll see on the actual road as well, the wall does get slightly narrower as it goes off into the distance to create that perspective effect as well. I haven't done it with the fence because I stopped the fence deliberately short of the back scene, so it wasn't obvious. But with the wall, I wanted it to go to the back scene, so I sort of made it. It only goes down by about 0.5 centimetre, but to hopefully give that perspective as well. So yeah, I'm quite pleased. It's taken quite a lot of work to do. It's the first time I've used static grass as well. I didn't use an applicator because I'm not really got a lot of static grass to do on the scene, so it wasn't worth spending that money on a proper static grass applicator. So I copied what they did on budget model railways, which was, let's lean down, was literally just a drinks carton with a hole and the static grass in it, and shake it to try and create a bit of static effect. Sorry for the wobbling. Static effect on the grass, and then scatter it on. And it doesn't stand up, I think, like real static grass. It doesn't have the height on it, but you know, again, from a distance in the back scene, it's supposed to be rough and ready anyway. So again, I think it's sort of worked quite well. If you wanted proper lawn grass, then definitely you need the applicator. And then again, I put some light cheese in to create bushes in the background, and put some scatter on those as well to try and blend them in, some more brown scatter to try and blend them into the black drop, which you can see is as the bushes now are a bit brown, gone a bit brown as well. And then I've left the rock face a bit and just painted that different greys to try and give that rock effect. So that's pretty much that bit finished. I was going to continue with the road going down here, which I showed earlier, but it really helped working from the back to the front. So I figured I'm actually going to have to go and do the back here, then do the station before I can get to do the road. So I'm sort of going to stop at that point for now, and then really focus on sort of working that back scene. Probably just putting a walling along the back there again to blend it in, and then do the actual station properly, and then I can then finish with the road in front of it. So that's my plan at the moment. So I'll just finish this video with a few running shots with my new Bachmann Class 37 DCC sound, which I'm really pleased with. So I'll just show you a few of those shots running around. So I'm definitely sort of leaning over towards DCC now with my third DCC locomotive. So thanks very much for watching. Please subscribe and like the video if you like what you see, and hopefully I'll give you an update in a few weeks' time. Thank you.